Hey fam, I'm making this video today to talk about kind of a continuation of what I was talking about the other day when I was talking about why I had to basically orphan myself for my own safety because of the psychological torture that my family was putting me through. So, what I want to talk about today is kind of a continuation of aspects of that previous conversation. And what I want to talk about specifically is the information surrounding the photo. So the last photos that I have that were sent to me via text by my brother were in December of 2023. And at that time, those were like the only recent images that I had of them. I had not seen them in person for visitation since May of 2021. When I would request to see them for visitation, I was repeatedly told they don't want to see you. I was not um, facilitated to talk to them on the phone. I didn't even have valid phone numbers for them at periods of time. I was not told when they were pulled out of Richmond Christian School and then put in Liberty University for K through 12 online. I was not told when any of those things were done. They were just done unilaterally, and then I had to find out kind of on my own by contacting their previous school and things like that to try to figure out what was going on because none of this information was facilitated to, well, none of it was told to me by my ex. And there was just a lot surrounding that, like a lot of lack of information, a lot of lack of transparency. um that's a topic for a whole nother day, but I want to kind of focus on the fact that like I basically didn't have concrete evidence in the forms of interacting with them, in the forms of phone calls, in the forms of, even text messages, things like that. I wasn't having regular communication with them to where I knew that they were okay. Like I said, the last visit in person where they came for visitation was May 15th of 2021. I tried for probably a good couple years after that to still get him to bring them to visitation. I would show up at locations for visitation. He would either not respond at all or he would respond and say they don't want to see you. And that was pretty much it. And that's how that was handled. He just did not care about trying to help maintain a connection between me and my kids. He basically wanted to erase me and replace me. So that was my experience of him and his um, level of feeling like it was completely reasonable to remove me from their lives in all aspects. And he did everything in his power to ensure that that occurred. So I was contending with that. And then I randomly get these photos from my brother, and I was shocked because he hadn't told me he was going there. The whole understanding that I had between myself and my brother was that he was only maintaining any line of communication with my ex so that he could facilitate his kids and my kids still seeing each other so that they would still have a way to interact with their cousins. And that's why I found these photos so strange because his kids were not in the photos. It was just my daughter, my son, and him and his wife. So I thought that was very odd because, where were his kids? That didn't make sense to me. I never got clarification on that either. I never got any kind of like clarity as to why that was done that way. And so off and on, I would ask him for updated photos, something more recent. And it just always seemed like he had a reason why that was not something he could do for me. So I got to the point where I didn't know what else to try to do so that I could know that my kids were okay. I got the help of a private investigator that lived out of state, and she went through the process of trying to get information on my kids. She was able to find out where my son was working. She contacted the job where he was working at, and one of the people there said, well, he doesn't work here anymore, but he works at this other place. And then she was able to call the other place and was able to talk to him. He called her back. And when he called her back, he said something along the lines of, don't give my mom my number. She knows what she did. And my PI said to him, well, if you don't mind me asking, what exactly did she do? And he did not answer the question. So I don't know. I guess make of that what you will. And I went through kind of a little bit different of a process trying to find out how my daughter was doing, because I have not been able to even really maintain a, a phone number, like a valid phone number for her, a valid phone number even for my son. I had trouble obtaining. So I was at this process now where like I didn't know what else to do about my daughter. The last photos I had of her, she was 16 in the photos. So I contacted Chesterfield County. I spoke with a couple of different people, and I am going to name them in this video because I feel like their actions need to be called out. And you may feel any particular way about me going through these steps to try to verify that my child is okay, but I feel like any mother who didn't have like any visual proof, nothing to like confirm that their kid was okay. And yes, they are grown now, but they are still my kids. So I wanted to know that they were okay. I went through the process of contacting Shayna Sykes multiple times at Chesterfield County. Didn't really get a whole lot of assistance from her. Mostly she said anything she could to make it to where I was unable to really confirm that my kid was okay. I got information that wasn't really able to be corroborated with any evidence. So they said they would do stuff, well checks and such. They said that they had done that, but then when I asked for proof of that, they were either unwilling or unable to provide it. So the way that that manifests is they were asked by my PI to do a well check. They did not do that because they said that the person making the request had to be a resident of Virginia. So then I had to initiate that request on my PI's behalf because they couldn't process it without that being done. I asked for the well check to be done to make sure that she was okay. And they claimed that they went out there and did one, but I had some interesting phone calls with dispatch over there. I had one person on the phone over there that was completely atrocious to me on the phone. And then I had some people that I talked to over there that were pleasant and were helpful. So I feel like maybe that one person was just having a really bad day. But basically, the way that that all worked out is I said, well, I understand you did a well check, but you did not get any body cam footage. So, like, I have no proof that that happened. Like, you can verbally tell me you went out there, but like, where's the evidence that that occurred? So I was asking for evidence to substantiate their claim that they went out there. Because they didn't have it, I ended up talking to someone up there named Sergeant Solers. Sergeant Solers said that he argued with me back and forth. He really didn't want to do this, but he said he would go and do one final welfare check and he would get body cam footage so that I could have peace of mind of like visual proof that my child was okay. He claims he went out there and did that. He claims he made contact with her and that it had the body cam footage to that effect. I was unable to get those images via a FOIA request. They told me that because my child is now 18 and because of privacy, they're not obligated to provide that to me. So I still have no visual proof of what they're claiming happened. And in addition to that, when I followed up with him afterwards, I asked him, well, did you verify that the person coming to the door that claimed to be her was in fact her? How did you go about verifying that? I said, did you check ID, anything like that? He said, no, they're not required to. So while I would like to give him the benefit of the doubt, anybody could have come to that door and said that they were that person. So I'm not sure how much validity I can place in that. And I wanted to talk about this because I think that Chesterfield County's behavior in these circumstances is appalling. And I'm kind of curious to know if anyone else has experienced anything similar to this when they've tried to make sure that their adult children are okay. Because I can't imagine that I'm the only person that's gone through something this horrendous. And I just wanted